think each one of us also has a heckler in our mind. It's not our conscience, but it's that mean, cynical voice inside your head that's always criticizing you. You know that voice, right? That voice inside your head that says things to you like, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too old, you're not educated enough, you should have gone to college, you should have graduated college. People are more qualified than you, they sell better than you do. You're not a good manager, you don't know about marketing. The people you went to high school with, they make a lot more money than you do. They drive a nicer car than you do. You're just not like everyone else. Be honest, by a show of hands, how many of you sometimes hear that voice inside your head? Okay, a lot of people are not raising their hands because they're thinking, I don't have a voice inside my head. That's the voice. We all have this mental heckler, and what I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that 19 times out of 20, your mental heckler is absolutely wrong. Adjusting your mindset. So what that means is, if we want to play to win, we need to think to win. But the reality is there's a lot of people in this room who in the same external environment are working really hard and working really long. And you're engaging the same procedures as other people, but maybe you're not getting the results that you want. Well, the reason for that might very likely be the third factor. It's a factor that most of us don't acknowledge because it's not quite as tangible. You can't see it, and you can't quantify it, and you can't spend it. But I'll guarantee you, one way or the other, it's impacting your business. And that third factor is your mindset. It's all that psychological, emotional stuff that permeates every aspect of what we do. It influences every decision we make. And so examples of mindset factors might be things like your ability to bounce back from failure, your level of resilience, your ability to manage your ego, to manage fear, to keep an open mind, to adapt to new changes. It's your ability to cultivate relationships and connect with employees and connect with customers. I'm here to argue today that nothing will influence your business more than the mindset you bring to it. And this is great news because mindset is something you completely control. I was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's disease, cancer of the lymphatic system. This experience was absolutely terrifying and uncomfortable and inconvenient and amazing because of the wisdom that I gained. By a show of hands, how many of you in an argument love to prove that you're right? Tell the truth. How many of you argue to the death to prove that you're right? How many have been in an argument and you realized you're totally wrong, but you kept arguing as if you're right? I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. Okay, don't let go, Brian. All right. So here it is, two colleagues, two people who work together, who know each other, who love each other, respecting each other, each one of us insisting that we're right. And as long as each one of us maintains this position, what do we have left between us? Tension. It's totally counterproductive to the problem we're trying to solve, to the idea we're trying to come up with, and worst of all, to our relationship. Franchisor and franchisee going at it with different perspectives. The franchisor sees things one way. They're trying to get you to be compliant. But you're out in the field dealing with the customers. You have a very different perspective. And so you're arguing back and forth about what's right. What I learned is there's actually 3 parties to any particular argument. There's myself, and there's the other person, and there's the problem. So we can either compete, which is what most of us do, or we can collaborate and not make it personal and say, let's just get ego out of it. I don't care who's right or wrong. Let's figure this out. In your mind, I want you to think of a time when you pursued some really big goal and you failed. At some point in our lives, we learn that failure must be the worst possible thing that could happen to us. Failure is productive. It doesn't feel good. It's not what we want, but it doesn't mean it's not good and that it's not healthy. And think about this. What if failure was an acceptable option for you? How many more risks could you take? How many more opportunities could you pursue? How much more would be possible for you if failure was an acceptable option? What you're going to find is failure is harder than you think because you're better than you think, but you're not going to know until you... And that's why so many of us don't ever fail because we don't even try. Certainly failure is not something to pursue, but we shouldn't let the fear of failure, the fear of getting hurt, we don't want fear to be our primary motivation. We want it to be about courage. I think courage doesn't mean you don't have fear. Courage means you do have fear, but you go for it anyway, because logic and reasoning dictate that you should. Ladies and gentlemen, most of your life is not being spent at home with your families. Most of your life, more importantly, most of your time is being spent at work with your colleagues and with your customers. Which means what you do during these hours for Allstate, it's got to matter. It's got to be meaningful because of what you're giving in return. You're giving your time, you're giving your life, and you want that time to matter. Time is an account from which we only make withdrawals. None of us know our remaining balance. That's why we've got to be grateful. That's why your time working with U4 International and taking the time out of your lives to be here today to learn, to grow, and come together is valuable. Make this time worthwhile. Get the most, embrace every day, and I promise you'll be both beautiful on the outside as well as the inside. Thank you very much.